I'm going to tell you one little story here about Big John, or Big Ben, I should say. That was my truly last great hunting dog. And he's been gone 2 years now. And Ben and I were so close that he could read my mind. Mm-hmm. If I happened to be gone and something happened to him or something, he would watch out for her. If she had to do something with him, he was a perfect gentleman. I mean, he wasn't used to riding in the car. He was used to that. He would sit in the car like a perfect gentleman, do everything, because he knew that he had to watch her for me. When I would go outside and I would work, and I'd be, say, digging a post hole or something like that, he would come and stand beside me. Here's this 80-pound, long-eared white hound standing there beside me. And he's just like, as if to say, if I had opposable thumbs, I'd do that for you, you know. He was that close to me. He's the dog that knew if I was going hunting or what was going on. Or if I was coming home, she would say, well, I know he'll be home pretty quick here because Ben's out there standing. And 5 minutes later, I'd pull in, you know, and things of that nature. But he was also just that great of a hunting dog that he didn't have the numbers of catches and kills that a lot of my other dogs had, because I had slowed down my hunting and I was just much more into quality hunting and not quantity hunting. So we did most of our stuff in low country, kind of country that no one else really liked to go into. It was rough and low and very sparse with game and very sparse with lions. But we kind of would go out and we would pattern large toms, and then we would just target them. And he was really good at that. Well, long story short, he got hurt, knocked off bluffs a few times, and years started catching up with him. What was he, about 11? And he started losing some of his little bit of his hearing. I think his eyesight was fading a little bit and stuff.
I think so, yes.
He wouldn't have the spring in his step that he always had before, but he was still always there to go, you know, stuff. But we knew he was on a decline, and he started getting some stomach problems and different things. And we took him into the vet. He was x-rayed and stuff, and he says, yeah, he's not being able to pass a lot of the stuff that you're feeding him, you know, and stuff. He's got some internal problems, you know. We knew the time was limited, but it was really, really difficult because he'd be hurting, you could tell, but he'd always come in at night and he'd come up on the patio and he'd sit with us, and time went on, and I knew his time was growing short. And it was really tough for me because he was the one dog that I knew if there was a lion, I was going to catch it, you know, and I had that much confidence in. But it wasn't just that, it was just his very presence. He had such a big presence about him. Well, he got to where he was hurting really, really bad and stuff, and we were giving him some medicine, but it wasn't seeming to do very much good. But one evening we went out, and he came back like his old self. He came running up and jumped up on the porch and wanted to shake hands and wanted to play around a little bit. He always would like to do that and get down on the ground, and, you know, and he was kind of like, oh, Ben's his old self, you know. He's his old self. Really feeling good, and boy, we were feeling good about it and stuff. We went in. The next morning I came out and I had to go to work. I went to work, and you had to go somewhere. I can't remember where it was.
Yeah.
And Ben was out, but he didn't act like he was feeling good again. So I let him in on the lawn, on the yard, and I went to work, and I said, I've got to go home and check on him, you know. And so about 11 o'clock, I just had this feeling that he needed me, you know. And so I told the guys at work, I've got to go, you know, I've got to go home. So I went home, and I went in the backyard, and he was laying on the lawn, and he was in convulsions, convulsing, but he knew I was there. He could sense I was there. I put my hand on him, and he was convulsing, and he was dying. And when I got there, I talked to him and put my hand on him, and he went, oh, and died right there. He waited for me to come home to die. And he's buried right there.
Yeah, he is.
His ashes are in an urn right there, and he's buried right there by my gun room, and several of the dogs are buried there. And something something kind of left me that day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Our yard hasn't quite been the same
Hasn't
since
quite
Baby
been the
left.
same.
He was a very special dog.
The
Very
lion hunting
special.
hasn't been the same. The drive to go hasn't been the same.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of it will return, but I'm just not that driven anymore. Benny and I had those last 10 years that were just fantastic, and not saying that there's not another dog out there like him, but
Mm-hmm.
I've got some great dogs, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
just not ready for it, I guess. I don't know.